Hi, my name is Rachel McIntosh, and I was born on October 29th, 1998, which would make me 14 years old right now, and this is my Draw My Life video. For those of you who don't really know what I look like, I'm about 5'2", which some would say is a little short compared to others. I'm pretty pale, which is okay. I have shoulder-length dark brown hair and have a purple dipped eye that's kind of faded right now, but it was relatively bright at some point. I'm about a medium build with a round face, and I have these really weird eyes that I guess are a genetic mutation. So there's a ring of golden brown around my pupil, and then another ring of greenish around that. But enough about appearance. That's only a little bit about who I am, and definitely not the most important thing. I like a lot of things, and I'm open to a lot of things. I love to read fiction books and to really just lose myself in fictional worlds of any kind. Movies, books, TV, really just the ideas of others. I think it's really cool if someone can just create something that I find absolutely fascinating and that I can completely believe is real. And so naturally, I also love to create or think of alternate worlds and universes that I hope other people would love to lose themselves in. I also love music. When I'm at home, I almost always can't just have silence. There always has to be something on. I kind of like all types of music too, but mainly top 40 and alternative indie, which if you listen closely, it's playing in the background of this video. Another thing I like is learning new things and really just school in general. I'm a fan of most subjects, but especially science and language arts. In fact, my most important accomplishment is being a straight-A student and doing really well in school. This is such an important accomplishment for me because I believe that it will help me for the future. Achieving academically opens up a lot of opportunities for getting the best education possible. And in our times, getting a great education will definitely help you with your life and really anything. People who are really smart, or at least considered really smart, are respected, liked, remembered, and usually successful. If you couldn't already tell, I personally really value education and learning. I think that everyone should be learning as much as possible, and that education helps the world solve problems and stop ignorance. I also highly value success and consider doing as well as I do in school a success. Of course, I've faced obstacles with this. Like everyone else in the world, there are some things that I just don't understand at first, or really just don't want to learn because I think they're pointless to learn. A lot of the time, I do remember concepts and just get them, which makes school easy for me compared to others, but that's not always the case. In truth, I'm not really all that much smarter than anyone else. It takes me just as much time, or maybe longer, to memorize things. I spend the same amount of time in homework as everyone else, and have pretty much the same base knowledge as everyone else. The difference is that I'm determined and want to do well. I work hard every day to achieve. I definitely think that my values should be a direct link for making decisions. I mean, values are things you hold dear, things that you truly believe. I'm the type of person who thinks that you should follow what you believe, and do try to follow what you believe. It doesn't matter what other people think of your values. They're yours and yours alone. If something goes against my values, and I know that it does, I don't know if I could willingly go along with it. Values are supposed to be important to you, so I'm going to let them be. I know that it'll be hard to follow them in the future. Values are almost like what you believe are important to make an ideal world, and we don't live in an ideal world, at least not most of the time. So obviously there are going to be things that go against your values. And usually they're big things that we depend upon, which is why they're still allowed to go against important values. It's going to be tough trying to avoid or protest things that we depend upon or want. It's why a lot of people let their values slide. For example, I'm sure no one really likes the fact that a big company like, say, Abercrombie & Fitch is reusing is refusing to donate their unsold and defective clothes to the homeless, such as most companies would, and would rather burn them to keep the brand reserved for the elite. But we still have people buying clothes there. Maybe they just don't know, or maybe they just can't give up their clothes and buying from that company. But either way, that company is still in business and doing unjust things. What's hard is giving up and sacrificing for what you believe. I'm an only child in my family, which can be good and bad. It's not as bad now as it was when I was little, before I didn't have anyone to play with me or to talk to me kid to kid unless I was in school or at a friend's house. But now, I have things like texting, emailing, IMing, and really everything that anyone my age has ever used to connect with other people. Plus, I'm fine with being alone too, and I'm really just grateful I don't have to deal with obnoxious siblings. When I was about 4 years old, my parents split up and had a divorce. I don't really remember a lot. In fact, I don't even really remember a time when they were still living together. I live with my mom, but still see my dad a lot. I go up to his house in New Hampshire every other weekend, and every other major holiday, plus we have dinner together once a week. My mom has found a serious boyfriend who lives with us, and my dad has gone through a couple of relationships since the divorce. It's not really an issue for me, it's just the normal now. I think that my family is probably the strongest influence on me, both negative and positive. I want to have the great traits that my family members have, but also don't want to make the same mistakes that they've made. I think that if one person could be a gigantic mix of my family, they would be interesting, different, varied, unpredictable, and, in my opinion, as close to perfect as you could get. Then, if you take away the issues, the flaws, and the mess-ups, they really would be a perfect person. I also think that they really have given me some of my values. Both of my parents are teachers, and of course think that education is really important. Their viewpoints and ideas probably traveled to me when I was young, and stuck as I grew older. I'm relatively active in my community. I have a small group of friends who I'm close to. I prefer it that way anyways. I'd rather only truly talk to a few people rather than have pointless conversations with a bunch of people I don't even like. We do what any other person does at our age. Hang out at someone's house, go to stores or the mall, see a movie, get food. We just like to be together, talk, and laugh. I also play volleyball, which is a pretty big part of my life. My whole team is very close, which is awesome, and we all miss each other right now because it's off season. I play a position called a setter, which means that I set up the offensive play. Some people would tell you it's kind of like the quarterback position for volleyball, but you can't really explain certain sports based off of other sports, can you? Either way, I'm still an important part of my team, and my team is an important part of me. This year we had 11 players, and we're technically a 14U team, except we played in the 16U division for New England. We went to a few out-of-region tournaments, one in New York, one in Connecticut, and one in Maryland. By the end of the year, we finished 25th out of 132 other teams playing in 16U. Next year, we're hoping that we will all stay together as the same team. In the future, I want to be the best I can possibly be at volleyball. I know there are some things I'll never be able to do at all that well because of my height, like blocking, but there are still a lot of other things I can be really good at. I want to be the player that anyone would want to have on their team. I want to be that girl, the girl that everyone in town thinks is an MVP. Sure, it'll be hard, but it's what I want. In my life so far, it doesn't really seem like I've been that much involved as a citizen of the US. I mean, I'm only 14. There aren't many things that people in the US are really depending on me for. But I do believe that volunteering in the Challenge Unlimited program at Ironstone Farm gives me a small but important role in the US as a whole. I started volunteering at Ironstone last year, about mid-spring. It's a large horse farm in Andover, Massachusetts that offers lessons for recreational riding along with the opportunity for performing therapies on horseback. That's where I come in. I volunteer to help out with the many therapy sessions that they have. There are 2 types of therapies, one for physical disabilities and another for developmental delays and mental disabilities. Most of the therapy sessions have been for the latter, and I've worked with almost all ages, from young child to adult. As a volunteer, we assist the head therapist by leading a horse, making sure the client is safe, and for large groups, helping the client do the exercises that they need to perform. It's definitely a very interesting experience, and sometimes a very hard one, but it is something that helps other people. As you stay with these clients and groups for long amounts of time, you really do see them improving, mainly in small ways, but also in very big ways. Plus, in reality, these people that you're helping can be from all over the place. Ironstone does get groups from local specialized schools which have residential students. I'm helping to change all sorts of people, from different walks of life, who are completely different from me. And I just think that that's amazing. Well, if it seems a little hard for me to realize my impact on my own country, it's definitely hard for me to realize my world impact. I'm definitely a consumer. I play a part in deciding which companies or products are popular. If I don't buy something or support a company and boycott their product, who knows, I could be the one person that puts them out of business. My other part of the world is the future me. Theoretically, I have the potential to be the greatest world impact alive. I want to be successful as an adult with whatever career I choose. I don't exactly know what it will be yet, but it will definitely be something where I use my mind. Success for me is doing something I love and that will make some sort of impact on others. That matters. I don't care if it's big or small. If I've changed something, made something a little bit easier, or just helped someone, it's a success for me. There will definitely be obstacles. There are obstacles with everything. Of course, I won't know what these obstacles are until I reach them. If I did, what would be the point of them? I would just pre-plan and be done with them before they even reached me. Maybe I'll have my life totally planned out, and I'll think I know exactly what will happen and what I want to do, but then suddenly I don't. Maybe a part of my plan will go completely wrong, and suddenly I'm on a different course than I thought. The truth is, I have no idea what's going to happen. That's the biggest obstacle I'm facing right now. The not knowing, the unpredictability. 10 years from now, I could be anywhere. And that is the greatest but scariest feeling you can ever have. So now, I'm just trying to figure out who I am, because to be honest, I really don't know. I'm still evolving. I'm still changing, and nothing is set in stone. But do we ever really know who we are? Because I don't and I haven't. But I think that's going to be okay for me.